Hi everybody, this is Jared and I'm back. It is January the 26th, 2017, and I'm back to feature yet another favorite poet, and not just any particular poet, but one of my major influences. That would be the late, great James Emanuel. Now, the reason why I'm posting Thursday now, Thursday on the 26th, is because instead of last Thursday, is because I had some problems with my laptop, and I'm ashamed to say it was some simple things I could have easily avoided and easily ignored, and I always pat myself on the back for being into it enough to remember these things, and even I could slip up, anybody can do it, but the problem has been remedied, and with that being said, I'm going to focus now on the work and the life and bio of Mr. James Emanuel, again one of my poetic influences. He was one of three who taught me that it's okay to be African American and articulate, among other things. Normally I would have written a bio for any poet that I've either don't know or know personally, not personally, but know that I've known through reading their works and what have you. But in this case, I wanted to use another reference, and I was searching around and I found one in particular that was really good, and I'm going to read his bio right now, and of course I will give credit to the reference that I'm using. And let's see, I'm going to do that now, and let's see, James Emanuel, who was born in 1921, was born in Alliance, Nebraska. After a series of jobs in his late teens, he served during World War II, partly as secretary to the Army's first black general, General Benjamin O. Davis, Jr. After the war, Emanuel earned his B.A. from Harvard University, his M.A. from Northwestern, and his Ph.D. in English and Comparative Literature from Columbia. Emanuel began teaching at City College, CUNY, while completing his doctorate. He taught at the institution from 1957 until his retirement in 1983. Though often described as neglected, Emanuel was one of the driving forces behind opening the English college curricula to African American literature. His groundbreaking study, Langston Hughes, which was published in 1967, was one of the first scholarly books on Hughes. With Theodore L. Gross, Emanuel also edited one of the first anthologies of black writers, Dark Symphony, Negro Literature in America, which was published in 1968, and I'm currently reading that one. I'm halfway through it, but it's really good so far. That same year, he published his first book of poetry, The Treehouse and Other Poems, in 1968. In his poetry, Emanuel frequently utilizes traditional forms and evokes the harsh realities of black experience. His many collections include Black Man Abroad, which was published in 1978, Whole Grain, Collected Poems, 1958 through 1989, which was published in 1991, and The Force and the Reckoning, which was published in 2001. In the 1990s, Emanuel developed a new form of writing, frequently described as jazz haiku. His collection, Jazz from the Haiku King, which was published in 1999, contains examples of the 17-syllable stanza form. He read his work in this genre to live jazz accompaniment. Excuse me, I almost messed up. I almost didn't get that. In 1996, he received the Sidney Bechet Award. Other honors and awards include a John Hay Whitney Award, a Saxon Memorial Fellowship, a Special Distinction Award from the Black American Literature Forum, and the Dean's Award for Distinguished Achievement from Columbia University in 2007. A selection of Emanuel's writings were placed in the Library of Congress, including his correspondence with figures such as Gwendolyn Brooks, another influence of mine, Ralph Ellison, W.E.B. Du Bois, and many others. Emanuel's only son died in 1983, prompting the poem, Deadly James, for all the victims of police brutality. And I'm going to reiterate that. deadly James for all the victims of police brutality. Emanuel rarely spoke of his son's death except to say that he committed suicide after being beaten by, and I'm quoting here, 3 cowardly cops. Emanuel moved to Paris in 1984, where he lived until his death in 2013. He taught English at the University of Toulouse and the University of Grenoble. And there you have the life of one of the most fantastic and outstanding poets that I've had the pleasure of reading. His works are phenomenal, and I suggest anyone to read Mr. Emanuel's works, because he was ignored. In my opinion, he was, and I think it has something to do with the fact that he moved to Paris. But but don't quote me on that. But that's just my own personal opinion. And with that, I'm going to read 2 small poems by him, and I will be reading more. I will be revisiting Mr. Emanuel in the future. But right now, I'm going to read 2 poems of his that are my favorite. They're 2 small poems that really, really captured my mind, so to speak. The first one will be entitled "The Negro," and before I do that, let me also say that I'm going to have a link to this particular poem where Mr. Emanuel recites this very poem. Again, the first one I'm going to read is entitled "The Negro," and the second one will be entitled "Emmett Till." The Negro. Never saw him. Never can. Hypothetical hunting man. Eyes a saucer, yes sir, boss sir. Dice a clicking, razor flicking. The nest froze him in a dance. A nest never had a chance. The next and final poem is Emmett Till. I hear whistling through the water. Little Emmett won't be still. He keeps floating round the darkness, edging through the silent chill. Tell me, please, that bedtime story of the fairy river boy who swims forever, deep in treasures, necklaced in a coral toy. Thank you for listening, and again, I will be revisiting Mr. James Emanuel. He was a fantastic poet, and again, I will also leave a link to him reciting the first poem, The Negro. And until that time, I will see you guys. Let's see, that will be February the 9th, I believe. Yes. And until that time, keep reading and stay tuned.